Are you looking to come to Qatar, or maybe you just got here recently? Well, there are some terms and concepts which I know you might have heard, but maybe you've not had the full explanation of. So today, we're going to be going over some things which you have to definitely know about before you make the move, or even for those of us who are just coming to Qatar or have been here for just a short while. We're going to go over, some terminologies and what they actually mean and how you need to get yourself sorted out when it comes to these particular things. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sona. This is Middle Listing. So just like we said in the intro, let's jump straight into it and go over some simple yet often overlooked things which you definitely have to be informed about when you make the move over to this country. First of all, let's start with the visa type. As you already know, Qatar works with a sponsorship system. We have different types of visas. Of course, we have tourist visa, which is valid for just about 30 days and could be extended if you want to. And we also have the other types of visa, which could either be company visa or freelance visa. Now, all of these visas, they are under a sponsorship system. It means that you are not coming to the country on your own accord, but you are coming to the country under a company. Now, we often colloquially use the term company, but the particular company which sponsors you must not necessarily be, a company running a service or whatever. It's just the way in which the system works. You must be brought here through someone. So that's the first thing which we have to get out of the way. And for the types of visa, like I mentioned, under this non-tourist category, we have the freelance visa and we also have the company visa now. Now, what are the differences between the freelance visa and the company visa? It literally dictates how you can, go over your work situation here in this country. Now, let me break down what I mean by that. If you come with a freelance visa, what it simply means is that the company which is bringing you here, on your visa status, you're going to have that description of you being a resident. Usually the residential visa is valid for 2 years. Now, the difference with the freelance visa and the company visa is that with the freelance visa, it's going to show on paper that you're working for the particular company. It's even going to show your position, it's going to show the salary and everything. But in reality, you will just be under that company. It's only on paper that shows that you are actually working with that company or that establishment or whatever. So when you come here, you are on your own. The only link you have to that company is that they are the ones who are going to, stand like the ones who brought you here. Yes. They are also going to be like you are under them, but it's not going to be officially under, like you don't technically work for them, you don't technically do any service for them, and they don't technically pay you. They are only there for things to like renew your ID, which is something which we are going to get into as we move ahead in this video. Now, for the other type, for the company visa, which is not freelance, this type of visa is, let me say, the situation where from your country is the company now, an actual company that hires people that brought you here. You understand? So you are coming now directly under them. Whatever contract you guys had is also tied down to that visa. It means the duration of your stay, certain details are tied down to the contract which you signed to be brought here. Maybe you're brought here for a specific job or something. That job will be written on the visa, and that's what you definitely come here to do. Now, all of them have their advantages and their disadvantages. Obviously, with the company visa, it shows that you're someone who is already employed. It means you will not come here and start looking for a job again. No, you are being brought here by the company. So you start working under that company that brought you here for the agreed salary which is written there. Now, the difference with this and the freelance visa, obviously, is that with the freelance visa, you are not working under the company that brought you here. You are freelance. It means you have to get here and start looking for a job for yourself. Now, all of them, like I said, have certain benefits, and most people usually view the freelance visa as better because you have a lot of flexibility. You can come here and start looking for the type of job which you feel like suits your own personal skill set, whereas with the company visa you're tied down to that particular company. Another question is that, can you switch? Yes, obviously you can. If your contract with the company that brought you here get exhausted, or you no longer want to work with the company, you can switch from this company to another company who is going to provide you a freelance visa. It's very, very possible to do that. Now, immediately you come here, the first thing which you're going to take care of is getting your QID. What is QID? Is a Qatar ID, your ID card. What gives you that legitimacy to roam freely in the country and to get some stuffs done. Now, you have a grace period of just 1 month, like 30 days after your day of arrival into the country, to get your QID sorted out. What is the first step for you to get your QID sorted out? Whether you come under freelance or you come as a company visa, the company, the establishment that brought you here has to book a medical appointment for you. And this medical appointment, you go to the medical commission center here in Qatar, where they'll run some certain tests on you, tests for infectious diseases, physical tests, all of those stuff that shows that you are able to stay in the country comfortably or to work permanently in the country. Now, we also have the QVC, which is a Qatar Visa Center. Some countries now have this, like for example, Sri Lanka and I think Nepal too. They have Qatar Visa Centers in their countries where you can do, like the company can apply for you to do this medical test right in the country, so that should in case you have any form of defect, maybe you have an infectious disease or you're not fit to come to Qatar, you can save yourself the time and the maybe funds which you would have used to apply for the visa to get here, So that's also another thing. Now, moving on, when you get done with the medical and everything checks out, you're fit to work, you're good, you don't have any infectious disease. Now, the next thing which the company has to do is to apply for an ID card for you, the QID. This usually takes about 2 weeks or 3 weeks maximum for it to get done. And after it gets done, you'll be called by the company to receive your ID. Now, the next term, which obviously gets thrown around a little bit, which I'm sure most of you might have heard about, is the NOC. What is the NOC and what do you actually need it for? Now, the NOC is an acronym for Non-Objection Certificate. What does this actually mean? Let me use this example. For example, if you have a freelance visa under company A, and now you have a job offer from company B. Company B now is asking you for the NOC, the non-objection certificate from the initial company A. Now, what this means is that they want to, just like in the name, know that this current company that you're under permits you to leave from there and come and work under them. So this certificate is just like a proof, a kind of formality to show that, okay, you can freely leave from one company to work under this other company. Now, we have the leave, which we are talking about here, is called a transfer. It means you're making a transfer from one sponsorship to the other. Now, we have temporal transfer and we have full transfer. The temporal transfer is when the company, your initial company, just visas you or allows you to go work under this new company for an agreed period of time. It could be 6 months, it could be 1 year, but you are not fully transferring under this new company. Now, for a full transfer, what is called a change of sponsorship, it means that you are fully leaving this initial company and now you no longer have a freelance visa because your new visa now is going to be tied to this new company. It means that this new company, the terms and the conditions which they provide for the work is what you have to abide by when you do that full transfer from this initial company to this new company. Now, Though that sounds, on the surface like a bad thing, or some people like to be like, no, they don't want to do the full transfer because they want to still have that flexibility of having their own visa. The advantage of you doing the full transfer is that in your initial company with your freelance visa, every year you have to, the individual who is under this freelance company, you have to do renewal of your ID. That costs about 1,500 to 2,500 Qatar riyals, depending on the situation or depending on how your sponsor will request from you. But when you do the full transfer to this new company, the new company is responsible to renew for the renewal of your ID. So that's something to have in mind if you have had a job offer and the job is requesting you to do the full transfer. That's something which you just have to have in mind. Now, a slight disadvantage of doing the full transfer is that, you will no longer have that flexibility. Perhaps you did the full transfer from your initial company to the new company and you realize that maybe the job isn't, what you signed up for, maybe long hours, or, just any reason. You cannot just switch now or resign from this company without incurring some certain costs because you technically broke the contract which you signed up for. Now, what do I mean by that? For example, you transfer from company A to company B and you say you're going to work for company B for 2 years. Now, usually because they incurred, the cost of making you the ID, doing some certain paperwork. If you break that contract and want to resign or leave the job before that 2 years period, you are entitled or you are required to pay a certain fee for the breaking of that contract. Because if you refuse or you don't comply with the rules and the regulations which the company set, they now have the authority or the right to terminate your visa. It means that they are not terminating only the work contract, they're actually terminating your visa. It means you have to vacate the country within the period of the termination. So that's why some people might not like the idea of transferring from the freelance visa to the work visa under a new company. So guys, that's it about the NOC. Now, if you're working in the F&B, the food and beverage, you might also have come across another term, food handler certificate. Now, this is just a certificate which most companies here in Qatar that are linked with, all the restaurants, the hotels, they require you to provide this food handler certificate before you can continue to work with them. Now, the food handler certificate, they still do, is basically the same test which you are required to do at the medical commission center. They will test you whether you have infectious disease and all of that. And it's the company that actually schedules the food handler certificate for you, to go do the test and everything. And when you're successful, you are given, just like the name suggests, a certificate which shows that for that period of 1 year, you are good to go to, work in the F&B industry. So that's it about the food handler certificate. Now, there are some of you who have the freelance visa. Maybe you need to do like a part-time job and the job is requiring you to provide the food handler certificate. Yes, that's also possible to get. Your initial company, the one who is giving you the freelance visa, can also apply for you to do the food handler certificate. But this one usually costs from about 100 to 150 Qatari riyals, which you have to pay to your sponsor, the company that you're under, before you can go do this food handlers certificate. So guys, hope you got to learn a thing or two today about how living in Qatar works and all of that. And also, just to touch again on the NOC issue, while looking for jobs online, I'm sure you must have come across most of the jobs are asking for notice period. The notice period too is just, perhaps if you're employed somewhere already, they want to know how long is it going to require you to leave your previous job and join them. That's what they mean by the notice period. And also with this NOC issue, guys, it's your company, your current company. If you're a freelancer, it's your current company that has to provide the NOC to your new company. You know, most people, they often get into that confusion of, you know, not knowing where the NOC has to come from, who has to provide the NOC for them, and all of that. And unfortunately, depending on the company that you find yourself under with this freelance visa, some sponsors are, you know, unreachable. I've had situations where people have lost jobs because they accepted that yes, they could provide NOC from their initial company, but because they could not locate the sponsor on time or locate the sponsor at all, they could not make that move now to join this new company. So guys, before coming to Qatar, that's something which you have to have in mind. You know, don't just get the visa from anywhere or from any company or from any sponsor that you are later going to come to the country and not get be able to get a hold of. Guys, do your research. If you are coming under a sponsor, it should be a credible one that, you know, has a good reputation, because there are so many cases where people come to the country, they actually have the sponsor, but they cannot find the sponsor. Yes, and if you find yourself in that situation, you know, on your QID or on your visa, the sponsor's name is usually written there. Maybe in Arabic, you can translate, or you can get someone to read it for you. From there, you can try to trace back and see who is the sponsor, see where their office is located. You go to them and you get all of this paperwork sorted out. So guys, that'll be all for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, you know, send this video to whoever you feel like might find this information useful. I know I left many things out, guys. Please, for those of you who have been in Qatar for a while, you know, maybe I made a mistake somewhere, one or two mistakes or two. I'll really love to hear from you in the comment section. You know, maybe you could explain some certain concepts better. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Come to Qatar, or are you new in Qatar, like you just got here recently? Well, there are some terms and concepts. Are you damn it.